John, I'm gonna start reading the Bible. I'm just wondering if the Old Testament will lead me away from Christ, as I don't have a lot of knowledge.
It won't lead you away from Christ, but it won't pique your interest like the New Testament. So do the New Testament first. Trust me, all the scholars got it wrong. Let's be honest, if I went with the scholar's point of view, I would have never read that. Like, come on, bro. And go start a Deuteronomy? Get out of here, bro. I mean, it's good, but nothing compares to the game changer, which is the Christ impulse, dude. The whole world got the Christ impulse, and they either rejected it or became the greatest nations ever. And yeah, you start with Christ, man, because dude, you'll love the Old Testament once you understand why you're even how your debt is even paid. Because let's be honest, it doesn't make sense someone died for your sins. It doesn't make sense until you finish that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. When you finish the Gospels, you can never go back to a world where humans just sin without the debt being paid. It doesn't even make sense. I don't even know how humans walk around thinking like, yeah, I believe in sin, but like, I think I'm good. Like, once you're done that, you will never, ever be confused again, right? I think the most important quote in the Bible, and I'm going to butcher the quote.
Wisdom donated $5. What TF does it mean if my number's 37?
It means you're a fucking one. But I'll tell you this, man. You're going to work hard your whole life, and then there's going to come a point where you're either going to learn to work smart or you're going to quit working hard. And I swear to God, willpower is finite. One day, you won't be able to work hard anymore. One day, you're just going to be hating God for all the fruits you didn't get. And I'm telling you, dude, as a young guy, yeah, work hard and stuff like that. But come on, man. If I read books earlier, you know, like I'm the only live streamer that can take a year off and come back to this. HS and Destiny, they don't really have anything to talk about. They've never read a book and stuff. If you're a Chad, read a book. You get a new line of income just from reading it. It's wild, right? Not right away, but eventually the tables turn to where people want that information. I'll tell you this, man. I think I'm the highest paid live streamer that sells thin air. You know what I mean? I literally sell thin air. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to get more employees than, you know, I do that to expand, but I don't have to do that. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you followed my streaming, whatever it is, you see a big shift when I started reading books. As 2022, the 2222, as evil as the twos are, something happened that year, bro.
Fo donated $5. May 29th, 2003. LP3, I'm currently doing music as a hobby and getting a degree in computer science. Which should I choose as my work?
Whatever pays the bills first. Good, bro. As a young man, money is the equation you're solving. You're not solving, I want to be a musician. Money is number one, right? I didn't get a girlfriend until I had money. And some guy who said like, oh, you're single. I haven't been single in like 8 years. I just say it so like more girls DM me. I haven't been single in guys like me, narcissists, are always around some clingy and we just kind of like rotate the we use them. I don't like to say it live because now I to look cool, I'm hurting myself here. But yeah, the truth is, like I avoid women and I've never been single. You know why? Check this out. I've never in my life held animosity because a woman doesn't pay the bills, right? Like I laugh about it that I pay everything, but in my head I hold, and I'm working on this. 2022, I just started reading. I had an identity crisis. Like my twin brother shocked me into an identity crisis on live stream. I turned that shit off. I traveled and I tried to like, I wasn't trying to find myself, but yeah. Anyways, why I don't brag about always having a girl around and stuff like that is because I don't want to put this thought in a young man's head because clearly I had anger issues, but you could be the sweetest girl on earth and I look at you as an energy vampire. Like, I look at you, I don't care that I spend money on you. I care that you're taking my genius ideas and having sex with them. But then who do I got to blame? It's like me always, right? That's why I'm saying, like, someone who sells a dating program should never say avoid women. But guys, I sell Christianity first, and that's the truth. Avoid women. I'm telling you, I didn't go on a date until I had Dwayne Johnson levels of body mass and muscle, which I overdid it. I didn't go on a date until I had money. I didn't go on a date till the whole city knew my name. You know what I mean? And then I went on a billion dates and stuff. But as a kid, I always understood what triggers arousal in a woman is the loadout, the archetype of the male. That when everyone's in a room, she goes like this. Oh, that John guy has money and fame. That's how they think, man. They don't, bro, even good girls, that's how they think. They just look at stats. You think they look at you as like, you're a funny guy. John's a funny guy. That's why he gets. No, it's always, he's going somewhere or he's already there. That's all they think about. That's why I say you guys should really focus on being the shit. And dude, people act like this is a fantasy thing. We have so many young men from my server, even the old servers I had that got deleted, who popped off. We never saw them again. No, I'm kidding. You guys are cool. But I'm telling you guys, like, a lot of guys in the server will just get their shit together. The guys who stay in VC chat, just talk about girls all day, not those guys. But the guys who make friends and build with those friends, I'm talking about online friends. I didn't have until I started hanging out with online nerds. So imagine a big hairy bouncer staying with nerds. Right? No, Jesus is not a demigod. This is the Nous theory from Neoplatonic thinking. And those Hellenistic, they were correct. That Jesus isn't a demigod, like, hey, I'm half God, I'm God's son. It's the word. Meaning, the absolute will not just boop humanity. The absolute will the word, which will do its bidding. That's the whole point of being top dog, is you have someone do your bidding. But how can you have someone do absolute bidding? Unless it's you. So it's not someone under you, it's literally you. Listen, the word of Zherka is Zherka's, but it's not infinite. So we can grasp that it's something else, and you can try and make that argument, right? But if the word is infinite and God is infinite, they're interchangeable. Meaning the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is one. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. Okay? Now, if you want to go to demigod territory, look into the history of most demigods. They f*** up, they have hero stories, and Jesus never f***ed up. Jesus is the only person initiated into the mysteries when everyone spoke one language before Babylon to confuse the Babel. Jesus is the only one who, when initiated, and through initiation, I hope you guys know where I'm going with this. The first gate is Lucifer. That's the first thing you will see being initiated, right? This is like dealing with death, right? The first initiate to not be tempted at all. Whereas every other prophet and sage and stuff will tell the story differently. Jesus is the first story to not be tempted. And I know a lot of people are like, wow, they couldn't think of a pure Chad to not be tempted. Well, they couldn't think of it because they're not God. And they weren't stupid back then. They were more clairvoyant. They didn't have as many like we traded that clairvoyance for intellect, right? That's in anthroposophy. I'm not really into that stuff that much, but it makes the most sense to me. And Jesus is the only one to not be tempted and actually know the nature of what's to come. So that's what makes his story so different from all the sages of old or anything before that. And actually, something that's interesting about anthroposophy with Rudolf Steiner's work is they had Christ before Christ, just in a different kind of way. That to me makes more sense than just saying they're all demons, they're seeing demons. I'm sure they saw some.
$10.
I'm talking about the pantheon of gods
crypto content
as
creator
demons.
and want to use girls to get my clout up on social media. How would you approach that? Being honest with the girls from the beginning or manipulate them first and tell them your intentions later?
Bro, I've never in my life used honesty to get a woman. What do you think keeping her in a state of play is? What is play anyway? It's fantasy, bro. Actually, something that's interesting about black magic is that the ritualistic ceremonial component is play. So what you play, you're actually doing in the spirit world. That to me is wild. You look at nature when we look at the animal kingdom, they play before they learn how to hunt, like the cubs play and shit. And then I was thinking, I'm like, I've never done anything satanic in my life unless I played it. You know, I was like joking around that I'm with Satan, and the jokes would get deeper and deeper, and then I'll do some really up shit. And then you tie up any bad luck you've had in your life, you were playing with the thought of demons, right? Think of demons as like these emotions or like these ideas that drive you, right? They just propel you into doing something that I don't want to say you don't want to do, but you don't need to do that.
The Bible it says in the beginning was the Word, and we all know the saying, he is a man of his word, but you never hear she is a woman of her word, because women don't have God.
Well, I mean, women have God, and it's actually explained to them how they go there that way, and it's through a man usually. But there's been saints, there's been female saints.
Donated.
When you sit with a girl on a date, it's really hard to be in the zone, especially if you're a Chad, even, because you're not thinking of it as like a sports game, or if you're a nerd, you're not thinking of it as a video game. That's why I make it an imperative you don't do the Andrew Tate thing where you wing it to try to look like a badass, because you will be tested. You need to think through her lens if you're checking the boxes of the archetype she wants. The one she wants to submit to something her animus approves of. Her animus will be every single experience with the males on earth. Father, brother, boyfriend, fiance, whatever. She has this angelic being over her that tells her, this broke. He's not rich like me. And she goes, yes, divine father. Yes. Yes. And men have this too. They have, like, how many of you, like men, I heard that men, when they work out, they think of like a hot chick and they work out harder or some shit like that. Well, who the fuck are they thinking of? It's not an abstract form. It's like a perfect, well, I mean it is, but it's a perfect form of everything feminine, right? So now check this out. If you're checking the boxes of that little angelic thought that keeps shitting on you in her head, when you're talking, she's shitting on you. If you're checking the boxes of her divine father, let's say, it's not actually divine, but like she's ruled by this, that's all you have to do. That's all you got to do is check some of these boxes. You've never seen a clip of Zherka talking to a woman where he's not talking about status, network, and looks. You need to absorb what I said about the female's animus. You need to understand this, even if you don't believe in Jungian psychology or whatever. You need to understand she is shitting on you in her head during the date because you're not adhering to the concept of a perfect male. Not that you need to be perfect, but you need to check boxes. Anima and animus are the yin and yang, right? The little dot in yours. Like everyone, for example, why men drool over Brad Pitt? He's got status, network, looks. So this divine mother, right? It's not your real ma. It's not Freudian. It's your divine mother. I'm using the word divine as in like it's real to you, but it's not actually divine, right? This thought form, this angelic being in your head, this is what literally keeps you in a state of, I need to improve my life or she will leave me. If you have a bad relationship with this angelic being, she's gonna say things to you like you're worthless, you're this, and that's what an incel is. An incel has an extremely dark shadow filled with the anima, which is anima is all female experiences they've had bundled up into one. Then you have someone like me as a Chad, where I had the bad anima with all the bad experiences, and then I got all the women that a YouTuber could get, and I still but I never have a bad relationship with my anima to where she tells me something wrong. So for example, she'll tell me something like, hey, you disregard women more than any influencer that's ever lived because you're real about it. Don't change, and they'll always chase you, John. Have I changed? No, I actually got worse over time. But I'm telling you right now, that voice in your head is what holds you from approaching women and stuff. Because you have a bad relationship with this angelic thought that follows you around since puberty, even before that, but we're talking about when it starts to really bite from the fruit. And fixing your psychological state with your anima is huge. It's so much bigger than my dating course, right? And it's not something that's like completely fixed. You tinker away at it. And I hate talking about this. Like for years, why I didn't talk about it is, I'm not gonna lie, dude, the way I see chat is cattle. Even my chat, I've never in my life, like, for example, have you ever seen like an Aiden Ross or one of these streams? They bring chatters on and you start looking at them like they're not even human. You know? I've never in my life put chatters, or I've never seen an influencer. I think of the influencer as like he just doesn't know what he's doing in life. But when the influencer puts on the chatters, it reminds me why I followed the influencer in the first place. Because the average IQ will never understand this anima thing. They'll never understand it. And to me, man, you could have all the dating advice in the world. You're never going to do what I do. You're never going to be on some guy's live stream with a bunch of have them giggling like hyenas. You're never going to do even a percentage of what I do, because I swear to God, when I talk to women, I'm talking to anima. I swear to God, you can even see my eyes when I talk to women in a room where everyone thinks, like I'm half talking to Chad, but I'm half having a conversation with, have you ever even heard me have a conversation with a woman that's not about Disney, making her feel young, or my status, network, or looks? I don't think I've ever had a conversation with a woman where I'm not intercepting her mind with status, network, looks, status, network, looks. You know what I mean? And you gotta ask yourself, like, how many times, I love Heel Mike to death, but how many times has he had a conversation with a woman where he wants to promote himself, but he first does the small talk? And that guy gets a lot of women, but you can cut out the small talk. You can be way more direct. You can go right to the I'm better than you face. Like, I'm telling you, if a woman is ever mad that you face to face said you're better than her.
Can you elaborate more on how you must deal with Lucifer at the start of your initiation?
Well, should I give him the invisible college answer? I don't know what answer you would. Do you want the esoteric answer, or do you want, because like no one knows for sure, but I know the visions I've had, or the vision. I don't know if the other ones were him, but I know one was like the one that changed me. So if we look into my experience, everyone has a vision with the devil within 29 years of their life, right? And it's a very vivid. It's not something you forget. Oh, shit.
Double_8_LP donated $8.88. Woman. They come when you completely the Trinity. So Zherka, I'm 19. I know what to do to make money,
yes.
Kinda. But why the am I so lazy?
Listen, laziness comes from the idea that you're eventually going to do it, and you're eventually going to get there. However, when you do eventually attempt to do it, you're going to be a weaker version of yourself with baggage, almost like debt. So if you don't do something for months or years, that thing you're trying to do becomes 10 times harder. And you don't have the life experience to know it's going to get harder. So around 25, you start panicking and reading books because you go, holy it took me 25 years to get that shit done. So you got to go learn the hard way. But that's why I always say you got to, listen to your elders and your parents and stuff like that. Because experience comes with this truth pill that cannot be bought. There's this truth pill in life where think of like sports and fitness, how hard it is if you're off it for a while. Now think of that for your thoughts. The cool thing about growing up and death anxiety and all that interplay in the collective unconscious that bleeds through into your conscious mind, right? The cool thing is a lot of people who never read and failed classes in high school, their brain shifts later in life when they're 25 and they love to read and they want to compensate for that if they have a healthy psyche where they actually want to improve. That's the cool thing, which I had no idea. It didn't happen to any of my high school buddies. They're all, I love you guys, but bro, I could spin circles around them. When you put me on a podcast, I sound like a genius compared to the average guy. And that's like what? A couple years of reading? But I'll tell you this, I read libraries of books in a year. That shit can be done. You just stop listening to music and switch to audiobooks and you're done. That's all you need. And I even passively do audiobooks where I'm not listening, right? I never went back to music unless I'm driving around town, and even then. But I'm telling you this, if you do not make that shift from Chad, jock, whatever, to, businessman, oh my God, is the world gonna you? The world is gonna you.
Out of my parents' house a couple weeks ago and already miss my family a lot.
Oh, you
what
miss
should
them?
I do?
How do you not miss adventure? You're starting your process of individuation, of fighting your dragon. That dragon you fight is for the next 70 years. You better get cozy fighting it, my like. You can't be with mommy and daddy, all right? Another thing, if you're around your parents like that too much, they get anxiety, they grow old faster. They want to see a millionaire son. They want to see a millionaire son who goes like, do you want your parents? Bro, my parents used to worry about me, the youngest, the most, and now they don't give a They actually cannot believe the life I've built for myself. Because, they're confused. They're like, does everyone at your follower count make this kind of money? I'm like, no, they got nothing to teach. But they're convinced. They're like, yeah, no, everyone does. Like, no, they don't, bro. And
let's go, pal. I'm making a withdrawal here.
Bill Clinton's boner.
I don't really want to talk to
$5.
TTS, bro. I don't
Have
really...
you remote viewed? Sean Ryan interview with someone in Project Stargate was nutty.
Yeah.
FAP stay strong, boys.
No, I have not. No, all right? I only do what's worth it for me, okay? And what's worth it for me is dream analysis, active imagination, and even if it takes a week for me to understand a dream, I've never fully grasped it. You're never going to fully grasp it, but the elements of the dream that you need will change your life. You will not experience resistance. You'll do your work faster once you understand what's bleeding through you.
Please keep talking about anima versus animus.
Yeah.
Also, what books should I read to figure out this life shit? Life Path number 7, Christ is King.
Listen, dude, there's 2 numerologists in the game. The books are fake. I mean, it's just me and this Jewish guy I know. And you're never going to... there's this one book my buddy gave me, and it just talked about soul urge and all this stuff that's fake. If you want to know numerology, just go to... Just YouTube Pythagoras audiobook. Anything. And you'll start to get it.
Let's go, pal. I'm making a withdrawal here.
A donated $5. Where do you listen to audiobooks?
It's the channel called... I think I've listened to every single Esoterica channel on audiobooks there is. And man, I went through a lot of the bullshit, but I always made notes on the self-help stuff, and anything that aligned with the business books I read, I'd stick to that stuff. But really, if you look into what developed me the most, the Bible, and then the Bible built a big shadow for me, right? So when you're going to God, you're going to build a shadow that kind of resents God. Right, for confidence. Dude, I swear to God, when I said, I don't know if it was on Bradley Martin's or whatever, but I said, all depression is self-aggression. And when you start, not finish, not when you start your individuation process, it elevates some of the depression off you. And when you're going through it, not when you finish, I swear to God, the cure to depression. I always say God first, but they want the second answer. And the second answer, God wants you to have experience in this world and live your life and sweat by the brow, work hard. I'm telling you, you must be individuated. I promise you, Bradley Martin, Zherka, and Destiny, very different characters, do not deal with depression the way they used to, because they are individuated enough to where people on the street know who they are. They've helped enough people, you know what I mean? And then I'm telling you, there's something that happens when you guys get out of living with your bros and stuff and go out into the world. And life is going to feel like a movie when you do. Every single day of your life will not have that feeling of another day. You're going to have that feeling of what's to come. What's going to come my way. It's going to be this abundance mindset of blessings.
Unique.
Now check this out, dude. God doesn't like the depressed, because they make a pact with the devil. There's this psychic pact you make, cutting your psychic wrist. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's something about losers that, this is so crazy to say because it's going to align with my far extreme beliefs, but I'm not doing it for, it's not a political statement. Poor people are poor because of their mindset. I swear to God, you bring poor people from any country on earth, they fail in America, bro. They fail.
Unique Idol donated $5.
No one on earth can say poor people are poor because of their mindset. Because, you know, it's evil to say. You know, you're born into a system still. You're born as a collective, not as an individual. But there's a bouncer who sold crack. No, not crack, but there's a bouncer who shouldn't have made it in life. And my life's a little too easy. Like, you know, my biggest losses in life came with, like, life-changing amount of money. Those are the kind of losses you want to have, man. Like, I am blessed beyond belief, but I'll tell you this. If I'm not doing things for myself, God, bad Wi-Fi with God. God doesn't even do anything for me, bro. It sounds blasphemous to say, but if I spend 1 minute feeling bad for myself, I feel like I can't even get a call. I can't even get a call with God, right? That's why I think the mind and the body need to be both mobilized, right? You got to be doing shit to receive blessings, or else the blessings just get kind of like frozen. Like you don't feel like you deserve them, so they're not coming your way, right? So, yeah, I think where most people fail is something I can't understand. Because when someone says to me, I don't know what I want to do with my life, well, then who the knows? Like, there's no bigger on earth than someone who looks me dead in the eye and says, I don't know what I want to do. Because I'm like, man, God showed you all the arts in the world and you still can't pick? You'd like 1 billion options you can't pick? You don't know anything about your own soul? And you talk to your soul. Like, people talk to their souls. Like, it's you and the soul. That's how we see it, right? But I'm telling you, like, if you don't know what you want to do in life, I'm not the answer, bro. I'm like, I hate people. I hate people like that, bro.
How do you integrate your shadow as a 3? You mentioned that our biggest weakness is ADHD.
ADHD. Yeah. If you have the big problem with ADHD, the number one thing you can do, the number one thing, is eliminate all media, music, and everything. You have this impulse to listen to music. You have this impulse to... These impulses need to be dissolved. And I've done this. It's not like I'm those guys who lie about it. I do this.
What if you are depressed? You are living in the past, and also you are a weak little girl.
Yes.
Imagine living in a first world country and still not being grateful.
Being depressed, look, it's about being socialized with a group that is completing your individuation process. Now listen to what I'm saying here. Hold on, this is gold. Shut up.
WTF Zherka, where you been? Stream MF.
Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Yo, check this out. Be social. Oh, I'm not as depressed. I'm being social. That's not really how it works. You can be social with stoners and still be depressed because they're not bringing you a wife and they're not bringing you a life. They're not bringing you a career. You need to be social with people on the same mountain as you that are completing your life's myth. So let's say you want to be a bodybuilder, you hang out with bodybuilders.
Why would you pick Catholicism over the Eastern Orthodox Church when it's clear Rome has been subverted by Jews?
Oh yeah, the Orthodox are saying that. Listen to me, buddy. I go by the first church. The ones that got their heads cut off. Not these DLC packs like Orthodoxy and Protestantism. And I know you guys accuse me of being Amorc Protestant. F*** off with that shit, bro. This is the only Catholic channel on YouTube and you guys want to accuse me of being some Protestant. Come on, bro. Alright? And we're in end times. So that's how I explain everything. Like, if you don't think we're in end times, it's 20-1. We're 20 times hornier than women, I think. Was it 20? And they closed the gap on cheating. The biggest whoredom would be today. That's end times. That's how you explain it's end times. Not the end, but it's definitely starting the beginning of the end. All right. Yeah, depression is for fakes, but it's real. I'm not Andrew Tate. I don't say it's fake, right? I believe the devil and his ways are relentless, right? Depression, anxiety, and these are tools of the devil, which they could be tools of yours. Like, it takes a little anxiety to get a career going. It takes a little depression, reflection, to find out that you want to do that career. So you can turn these wheels of depression and anxiety, but you don't want to fucking spin them. That's what you're doing usually. You're going one side or the other, but you want to reconcile these opposites and kind of find out what drives you. And obviously it's going to put a fear in you. Like, if you're a power lifter, you're afraid of your deadlift day. Is that fear bad? No. That's how you progress. But again, once you realize how much power you have as a Christian, I'm talking about as a Christian, once you have full control of your mind for at least an hour a day, game over, you're a millionaire. That's literally, bro, I'm telling you, an hour is all. You can be ADHD all day.
$5. I have been on semen retention for 3 months. Should I exercise and read? How long should I hold my seed?
Yeah, bro, you gotta see it like this. You need exercise for the body. You need religion for the mind. Excuse me, religion. You need Christ, the Christ impulse, fully realized, right? Even if you're convinced you will reject Christ, complete it, fulfill it. Because when you fulfill the scripture and you read it, you always have this psychic canopy that you can bounce off of when times get rough. So it's like an insurance plan, right? I know a lot of you guys are going to read it and still not with it, right? And remember, these texts that last for thousands of years are more intelligent than you. I don't know why everyone's convinced that a chatter knows better. Like, I don't really understand the garden and the snake. Okay, let's hear your version. Well, I don't really believe in Big Bang Theory. All right, let's hear your version. I got nothing. Just think of a Thor myth. Make something up. I can't do it. You can't do it. Let alone if you could do it, it wouldn't be a psychological text that helps every civilization throughout history. Like, I'm telling you, you're not more intelligent than scripture, bro. Get out of here. Okay? So you gotta get rid. The biggest insult who hates themselves still thinks they're better than God for some reason. Like, remember, pride is the first sin, right? The fall from grace. And then the second one is, I'd say pride again. Because Eve is so prideful. First of all, she's given made in the image of God, and she spits in God's face and says, "Devil, make me in the image of God." Excuse me, young lady? You've already been promised. You already got what you wanted.